Just getting stream announcements gone out. Okay, stream announcements are out, and I've heard removals during this. So, welcome to the ReBBL Playoffs, round of 32. I am CheesyX, and we're going to be watching right now Glossary Didnt buy Battlepass versus Crystal Hunter's ReBBL Barons. And unfortunately, I had some hiccups with OBS, and so it took a little bit for me to get started. So it looks like Glossary is starting on the offense. And we've seen this team before. It is a bunch of scary blockers, Mighty Blow Juggernaut, minus Agi Trollslayer, Mighty Blow Guard Stand Firm, minus Agi Trollslayer, so Trollslayers aren't going anywhere. Whole bunch of blockers with Mighty Blow block. This one has Armbar and Grab and Guard as opposed to Mighty Blow. I think there might be an MNG blocker from the previous game, if I remember correctly, that had Armbar. Because I seem to recall there being 2 Armbar blockers on this team. And looks like 14 players total, and has also picked up Cindy Pie Whistle. In addition, Didnt buy Battlepass has why doesn't that show up here? Weird. So there's no additional inducements with the exception of a wizard. It looks like on the right hand side. I'm not sure why it doesn't show up in the inducement list. Our kickoff event, a brilliant coaching. A tie or a reroll has already been used. Meanwhile, we have Crystal Hunter at a G-Man premiere. Already got 2 linemen injured. So we have a Rat Ogre with block, multi-block, armbar, juggernaut. Kind of surprised not to see any claw out of that piece. Certainly hard piece to stop, though. I actually do kind of like armbar combined with the tail, though. We have a Mighty Blow guard Stormvermin with minus passing, is currently stunned, and a Juggernaut Mighty Blow tackle guard Blitzer, which is KO'd at the moment. Fresh Gutter, Tackle, Pro, Dauntless, Catch, Block, Gutter Runner, and then a Strip, Dauntless, Wrestle, Tackle, Gutter Runner. And then we have a Big Hand, Two Heads, Blodge Step, Sure Feet, minus passing Gutter. And then all these linemen are fresh, with the exception of this dirty player, which is currently on the bench. Let's see, so 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right? 5, 8, 5, 10, 13. So we have 13 players at the start. 2 linemen are injured, which means that Crystal Hunter has a total of 11 players remaining. 1 is KO'd. So that gives Crystal Hunter 8 players. We've got a KO over here, so it's currently 8 on 10. Right now, it's looking like Crystal Hunter is just trying. He's fine. Is just trying to limit Lost 3's options and hope that he fails some dice here or makes a mistake. Just waiting on a moment to try to get a gutter runner in, but this runner does have champions. But unfortunately, Crystal Hunter is running out of players to get in front of this. And because of that, and the fact that Lost 3 just didn't have anything marked, he's just opted for this very deep and wide cage. So that's a -3 any place that he could, that Crystal Hunter could dive in. And it has guard beside it, so even if there's Dauntless up to strength 3, it's still a red die. We might just see a punch on this Troll Slayer and like a blitz into this lineman and just reposition everything up here. Crystal Hunter might try to just continue to slow down Lost 3 because while it's cost him in terms of removals down here, Lost 3's only got 3 more turns to score. Let's see, what is... Trying to remember where this setting is that the screen's not jumping all over the place anymore. Okay, I don't know where it is. So, blitz into Storm Vermin, or into the Troll Slayer, and then a block on... Interesting to me that it's a block on this lineman as opposed to on the Troll Slayer. So I feel like I would rather have hit the Troll Slayer just because it has lower armor. And then Storm Vermin just dodges away. So Crystal Hunter just getting in the way. Yeah, getting in the way, hoping that he can prevent Lost Ray from making ground up. Because, as we mentioned, it's now turn 6. So Lost Ray needs to make ground in scores in order to score. It's possible we'll see a blitz into this gutter runner, which is like super important, but at the same time, if you don't knock it down, it just steps backwards a square, and then you're in the same spot. We could see a blitz here, push it this way, like mark with guard here, use this blitzer to blitz, and then 1, 2, 3. You could form a cage like here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, you could form a cage over here and just not protect this back square because of these 2 players back here. Okay, so we're forming a cage here so that we can use this square, the blitzing square, as one of the cage corners. The movement up runner is only movement 7. So there's only one movement up. Still, there is a big difference between movement 6 and movement 7. And it is kind of what's allowing this switch sides. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 squares. So Lost Ray needs to make 3 squares in the next turn. Now we're just marking up a bunch of rats, forcing him to roll dice in order to do anything. Rat Ogre's fine. Crystal Hunter just weighing his options. It's possible we'll see a dive here. Simply because Crystal Hunter is running out of options, in my opinion. Could see a Rat Ogre blitz into the cage, and then we have tail on the cage, and we just mark everything up. Because we could just mark this Troll Slayer and limit mobility options. But this is gonna start at a 1 die, and there's no way to get this guard piece in there. So that's a 1 into a 2. Not even, it's 1 into a 1. Because the runner. Yeah, Red Ogre is probably not a great option. Okay. So we marked up the guard, so now the Red Ogre gets a 2-die. He's thinking about taking the push to try to get further into the cage. Opts to take the POW. No break, unfortunately. Yeah. Thought about taking the push in order to come into this square, but there was no guarantee that he would get a knockdown there. And also, he doesn't really have the players to mark these two in the back now, so they would just take a step forward and this guy would punch him. Now, I'm assuming we're just gonna see dodge outs from all these players. Uh-oh, that's probably a reroll. That's a double one. That's kind of a disastrous failure, because Lost 3 now only needs to punch one thing in order to move forward. Yes, I'm sorry, there's probably gonna be a score now. Knockdown on the Rat Ogre. Also, does anyone know where the setting is to stop the camera from jumping immediately to center on whatever action is going on? Because I couldn't find it real quick before. Trying to prevent this, trying to prevent the screen from jumping all over the place. Definitely not C, because it still jumps there. Another stun there. Maybe I'll take a look during the setup for the second half. And then, because of that, these two dwarfs can move over, fill the square. Yeah, we might see a desperation dive at our Crystal Hunter, just to try to pop the ball loose. And then just punch the gutter runner. Uses his blitz because he hasn't used it so far. So that if he gets like a double push, he can go this way. And then if he gets the knockdown on that second hit, he can come forward and mark this gutter. Crystal Hunter not having a lot of options here. The play is either blitz one of these linemen with a Rat Ogre, or we're like super diving into the cage. Just a stun. This is unfortunately how Skaven into Dwarves goes sometimes, is you just run out of players to do things. The real problem is that this guy was stunned, so we can't mark this lineman in order to make this 2 red, and okay, now we're punching the rookie gutter, which is unfortunate. So we do opt for the Rat Ogre Blitz to try to get some damage. Why not reroll that? Well, I guess we're going for the 1 turn next time. Yeah, we're going for the 1 turn next. Crystal Hunter possibly thinking about dodging out there, but if he baits a double skull, a quad skull with that, that's great. Glossary looking for blocks. I think we know my feelings on taking blocks when you could just score. This is a 3-die with block with a reroll, so it's not like super bad. I don't. Why would we not just? Okay, so we took the. I'm just thinking, why would we just block this way with Mighty Blow using the Blitz? But instead we took a 2-die with Mighty Blow. I'm not a big fan of taking the 2-die, because that's like a quad skull away from not scoring, and that's not that uncommon. Just asking him if he wanted the fireball at the end of his turn. That's kind of silly. This is the other big thing, and why Crystal Hunter may have been opting for that hope for removal from the Rat Ogre. Because if you removed 1 more player and it didn't come back, Cindy Pie Whistle goes on the field for turn 8. Let's take a look at my options one more time. Didn't think it would be in there. Is there just not a way to turn that off? Okay. I thought there was just a way to turn that off. Go to camp. I was just in camera. There's a distressing lack of options, just in general in Cyanide games. No, C is just a different way to move the camera. Oh, here we go, camera auto follow. So it's not C. So let's disable that, because I was getting complaints that the screen was moving too much, and that was mostly the game. I don't know why that's down here and not in actual settings, or possibly, you know, both. But, you know. So, Crystal Hunter setting up for one turn, it looks like. Movement 9, so he needs 2 squares. Block here and then blitz this way, I'm assuming? Get a knockdown. The stand firm is actually a problem. Crystal Hunter has misset his pieces. But also kind of feels like if this was the blitz plan, then it would have to come from this square. Oh. So maybe I'm just not seeing what it is. And it doesn't matter because we double won the catch. It's a 2 into a 1 on the catch. Oh, that's what the plan was. We were going around the left and we were using the frenzy of the Rat Ogre. So we were gonna frenzy into the sidestep. Sidestep would go up into the right. And that would set us up for the next block. That's what the plan was. I've just gotten so used to not having sidestep on my team, I didn't even think about it. I understand what I was looking at now. Now, going into the second half, this may be a bit of an issue. So, Ro32 has his full team and Cindy Pie Whistle on the pitch now, which bombers against 87 can be very, very good. Ro32, of course, just scored, so it is 1-0. Both Appos are in play. Ro32 has 2 rerolls rostered. So he did get the extra reroll from the brilliant coaching last drive. Crystal Hunter, on the other hand, 2 injured line rats, that's fine, but is still out the Juggernaut Tackle Mighty Blow Guard Blitzer, which is kind of unfortunate to be missing that. So that gives Crystal Hunter 3, 6, 9, 10 pieces on the pitch. This might be a rough one. Crystal Hunter doesn't have a natural one-turner, so he probably doesn't want to go to overtime, because the longer this game goes on, the more attrition he's going to suffer. So theoretically, we might see a 2 to 3 turn score here. And to try to get back on defense and try to get this KO back and hope that he can turn over. Try to prevent this game from going into overtime. And also, the sooner he scores, the sooner Cindy Pie Whistle gets sent off. And we don't have to worry about accurate bombs being thrown at us. For anyone who hasn't seen Cindy Pie Whistle, this is a passing 3+ accurate uh, Bomber. So that is the same as Bomber Dribble Snot. But the difference is her star player rule makes it so that once per game, she can throw 2 bombs on one turn. And then on a 1 to 3 on a D6, it's a 50% chance she gets sent off. LS blocks are good. Alright, I go hit 3 into a 2. Does get the knockdown. Interesting that he opts to push to the side and puts the Radigo over here as opposed to marking this lineman. So maybe he's hoping to be able to blitz with this piece next turn. Gutter Runner goes deep in order to blitz Cindy Pie Whistle, which is hilarious, and knocks down the Bomber. This Gutter Runner is now very exposed though, which has me a little concerned. Dodging in on a 3+ in order to hit Cindy Pie Whistle with block tackle. Tristan Hunter feeling very threatened by this Bomber, and presumably plans on scoring as quickly as possible in order to prevent the Bomber from doing very much. There's now 4 Gunner Runners downfield, 3 of which are in scoring range, I believe. 2, 3. No, all 4 are in scoring range. And even a dirty player foul. Tristan Hunter playing this drive very aggressively, opting for a greed fireball on the center field position. Only knocks down 1 and doesn't break. That is so greedy. Why would you fireball? Why would you not just turn this thrower into a frog? This is the only player back here. You make this player useless. I really hate that fireball. Like, sure, you hit 5 players, but you're expected to knock down there is what, 2 or 3, let alone to remove or break anything important. Like, you only hit 1 gutter there. I really hate that. So, all these are in scoring range. Uh-oh. We appear to have a pause or a disconnect. Has anyone said anything in Discord? Not so far. Surely it's not tilt, because, like, I would argue the Dwarves are in a winning position right now. They're forcing their opponent to score quickly, and then they can just grind down the pitch for the rest of the game. And then just score on turn 16. Nothing in Discord at the moment. Oh, we gotta reconnect. So we are seemingly back in the game. Yep, we have movement. So, looks like we're gonna 3-die the Uber Gutter, which makes sense because it's really hard to stop this piece from actually scoring. Uber Gutter is presumably gonna sidestep up. No, he's sidestepping to the side. Interesting. Doesn't want to risk getting removed. I don't like sidestepping down, though. Down and back, I don't like. I feel like I would go down and left. Because if you go down and left, then you can sidestep up here. And that makes your path a lot easier. Cindy Pie Whistle fails to dodge out, uses the dodge reroll. Just trying to get additional bodies in the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Go for it, go for it. So if you knock down this dwarf, and then blitz this dwarf, he doesn't even need a knockdown because he can punch here and use this as the follow-up. So punch here, push, that gets him out of the way. You give the ball to this gunner runner, and you use blitz. You put a player here, and then you blitz this runner from this square. And then you just dodge through on a 2+ with dodge. He's setting up to... He's setting up to surf this runner? I suppose... Really? Fails the Dauntless, but that's still 1 die. Does surf the runner. I am genuinely shocked by this. Crystal Hunter opting to not score on this turn. I mean, I guess you could give it to this guy, but like... That's a 3-2 through tackle now. And it's not like you're surfing 2 players here, because this is stand firm. I don't like this. I don't know what Crystal Hunter's plan is for this next couple turns, because it's now like you made it so your opponent couldn't get in front of you properly, and then you just gave him at least another turn, possibly 2 turns, to now get in front of you. Oh, that's so sad. The Rat Ogre hurts the dirty player in order to move. Okay, so he's making a cage here. He's possibly gonna go to this square and then hand off, which makes this a 1 die. But again, this is stand firm. So if he doesn't knock this down, this is possibly really bad. Okay, doesn't opt to put the ball there. So the thrower keeps the ball. 3+2+ to get out and just mark up this guard piece. But I mean, like, this is the free surf on one of these players, if not both of these players, right? Cindy Pie also going to the sidelines is kind of surprising to me. Yeah, like, both these players get surfed very easily. And we're taking up a position where, like, you can get in front of us very, very easily. I don't understand this play out of Crystal Hunter at all. Yep, so there's the push. Just a stun on that, so he's fine. And there's the second serve. There's a KO on that. He's largely unpunished. I guess what he managed to do is he surfed the movement 7, and then he forced all these pieces over onto this side. Oh, that's unfortunate. So now, like, he just needs to move this lineman 1 square, and he can run up this way and just be out of range. But at the same time, how many turns are you gonna buy yourself? 2, 3? And then you're just going into overtime. Maybe Crystal Hunter is banking on winning the toss and using this piece to 1 turn. Maybe he doesn't feel confident in his ability to stop Gloucester's offense. With the pieces remaining to him, and he wants to buy as many turns before he scores. Oh, and now the Rat Ogre punches a gutter, KOs a gutter. That is unfortunate. Surfing the Troll Slayer. I mean, okay. This has to GFI to get to anything relevant. What is Crystal Hunter's plan here? Okay. So this is a 1-die now. 2+ through. Okay, so this is now a 2-die, but if we don't knock down... Okay, we get the knockdown. The issue with this version of the play is that because we're not blitzing from this way, if this isn't a knockdown, it becomes a lot harder for Crystal Hunter to get through. It's definitely a risky version of the play. It's just the question of whether or not you agree that Crystal Hunter needs to take risks in order to come back from this player deficit, or if he should be playing safer Blood Bowl. I feel like with the pieces that he's putting up to be punched, that personally I'm not sure that this is the correct play. Just like with the pieces he's putting up to be punched and put in danger, he would have been better off scoring a couple turns ago. Especially because 2 of these removals were removals that he himself generated. You could argue 3 of them because the second Radogre punch into his own player was just not necessary if he went the other play. So it's arguable that 3 of those removals were things that he created. Opting to use the double bomb from Cindy Pie Whistle because the alternative is just getting sent off without using it. Drops a bomb on his own dwarf from being inaccurate. Otherly flubs that pass into the stands. Kills his own team presumably like MVPs. But again, using that rule because he's assuming that Crystal Hunter is going to score next turn, and Cindy Pie Whistle is getting sent off anyway. So Cindy Pie Whistle not accomplishing any of her jobs of dropping bombs on things or forcing an early score. Taking the blitz here, it looks like we're trying to screen off. Yeah, so we marked the dwarf there, so we're trying to screen off and buy an extra turn. If we go to this square, we're safe from this lineman. But how do we stop that runner? There's not really a good way of stopping him, because he's just going to come around this way and just wrestle tackle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Go for it, yeah. And he can't come to this square to make this dodge harder because these guys are down here. We've seen that Crystal Hunter very clearly believes that he needs to stall this for as long as possible in order to prevent Lost Reef from... He's going backwards! That is genuinely kind of surprising. Is he safe? He's still safe from a blitz from anything but this. I'm gonna be honest, I disagree with this block. Sure, it's a free block into a gutter runner, but I would move these pieces over here and make them threatening, and then I would dodge and blitz this gutter runner. It's a 4+ dodge, and you have, with a team reroll, that's a 75% chance to dodge out and get a 2 die on this gutter. I would absolutely do that. Go for it. Okay. So 3+2+2+ to 2 die the ball with wrestle tackle. Probably better. I had just assumed that Crystal Hunter had looked at the squares. Doesn't appear that he had. Opting for a blitz with a Roger that's super greedy in this position. Because if you double skull this, you're not scoring. Lost Reef using a reroll there in that last turn. I think I'm fine with it. Because if you knock the ball down there, I don't see how Crystal Hunter scores and how this could go into overtime. So I think that's fine to use the reroll there. Now, going into this next drive, kind of looks like Crystal Hunter's gambit has paid off. It's 1-1. Lostry has 4 turns to score on dwarves, and Crystal Hunter has 3, 6, 9 pieces active. 1 KO'd piece. Now, admittedly, he generated a KO and an injury on himself. And I would argue he generated an additional KO that came. High kick, but the dwarves do not catch the ball. So, still dice to try to pick the ball up. Crystal Hunter opted to go for this really high risk stall tactic, and it seems to have paid off. Now the question becomes, can he survive this drive and prevent Lostry from scoring over the next 4 turns? Oh, there's another line rat gone. I was going to say that if Lostry doesn't generate a bunch of removals, he might look to commit that last reroll to scoring. But depending on like how the removals go, he might get to hit some really important gutter runners. Picking up the ball this turn is actually super important because it's close enough that Skaven could get to it, and also you need every square you can get. Because while the dwarf does have a movement, the rest of the team does not. So he still needs to work to get field position over the next couple turns. Get a knockdown on Blitzers, and the Blitzer breaks and is seriously hurt. That might be the Apo. But at the same time, Crystal Hunter might save the Apo for this gutter exclusively. That's not the Juggernaut piece. Needs at least 1 Juggernaut piece. Probably. If I'm reading Crystal Hunter's plan correctly, he's going to save the Apo for the Rat Ogre and this gutter runner exclusively. Those are the only pieces he cares about right now, because those are the 2 pieces he needs the 1 turn. Everything else is just, do I have enough bodies to generate the 1 push I need? So, Crystal Hunter standing up here, just trying to limit as many dwarves from moving as possible. So this forces 1 dwarf to waste his movement on the block. And it's either this 1 forward or one of these 2 guard pieces. So the question becomes, if you're Crystal Hunter, what is your blitz? He could theoretically blitz into this lineman, knocks down the lineman, puts an additional +1 here, and then he has a block with his gutter runner into the Troll Slayer. Going super aggressive. Opsy is a reroll. He's going all the way in to hit the ball. Lostry has finally left a cage position open enough so where Crystal Hunter feels like he can go aggressive. Is he gonna... 2 plus... 4 plus 2... 3 plus? 2, 2, 4, 3, 2 die with Dauntless. Well, you may as well commit the reroll at this point. Because you've already committed 2 rerolls. You may as well commit the 3rd one to try to get this knockdown. Because it's all for naught if you don't make this knockdown. Gets the knockdown. Now the question becomes, what happens with the scatter? Scatter is forward. It's not great for Crystal Hunter. Can't really recover that effectively. But at the same time, it's also not amazing for Lost Ray. Does require a couple blocks in order to clear it out. There's a bunch of rats all around, so if he fails this pickup, it could go really, really wrong. And also, if it goes really, and like you feel pressured to pick up on this runner, right? Which means you're only getting a maximum of 4 squares. Having to commit a bunch of players onto the sidestep piece, so the sidestep can't come forward. So that's 4 players committed to clearing off the ball on this side. 5 players to hit this rat. Gets a stun on the piece. Does knock down this line rat. Doesn't make any additional movement though. KOs it. But like, how do you keep this safe? You have to go backwards. Which means that if you go backwards, you're coming like over here. So that's bought Crystal Hunter 2 turns of delay. Doesn't get the knockdown there. Has the follow-up hit. Does get the knockdown. The question becomes, does Crystal Hunter have enough players in order to stop Lost Ray? So, he's managed to carve out his path to where he can put the ball like here, but I'm not sure it's super safe because this guy is not stunned. He's just brown, so he's a 3+ away. Oh, well, we can fill that square. If we fill this square, this is fine. And Lost Ray's kind of recovered from the knockdown. Yeah. Yeah. Looking at the positioning, Crystal Hunter may have made the wrong call with the dive. I can definitely understand how he came to the conclusion to do it. And maybe if the ball had scattered backwards, this play would have been amazing. But with the scatter forwards, Lost Ray's just consolidated a cage and moved forward a few squares. So he only needs 2, preferably 4 squares forward in the next turn. And I don't know how Crystal Hunter prevents him from getting those squares. This isn't stand firm, so you could opt the punch here and take the push. You'd have to mark this dwarf though. But if you take the push and you go into the cage. Uber Gutter dodging out. Dodging in, so presumably might dodge through and GFI onto this. No. So he's looking to. Oh. He wants a push. This is unfortunately the stand firm piece. Opts for the push so he can go in. This is now 1 die. Gets the knockdown. gets an injury on a fairly important dwarf. It's a serious injury, 50% chance to come back. Opts to use the Apo. Does get to downgrade it to a seriously hurt. So that Troll Slayer is not coming back for the next game. I don't know that this really does anything now. There's only one piece marking the ball. So you just punch this piece, you put tackle behind these gutters, you punch this gutter, and then the ball walks like way down here. I don't know, I feel like this still comes down to Crystal Hunter's decision to play the long game in that last drive. Like, he lost 3 players, only one of which came back. Now, Lostry is deciding on where he wants to position. He doesn't have any players that he can move forward with the ball, so if he moves forward with the ball, it's with the understanding that, like, these gutters are going to dodge out and blitz him. Runner moves full movement forward. So we are now trying to maximize our blocks here. I don't think I would have blocked this piece at all. This piece was well stuck. And now all we've done is we've moved a blitzer forward so that it is more likely to be able to get off, or more likely to be able to punch something that matters. I would have just left him back here, because now we've had to commit this runner to this square, as opposed to trying to GFI over and be relevant for the gutter runners. This is a -1, so this is a 1-die block into this gutter. Follow-up is a 2. So that is 3, maximum 5 dice to knock down this gutter runner. And now we're forced to blitz into this blitzer, just because we've run out of players. I would have much rather blitzed this gutter runner, because the gutter runners are what's going to prevent you from scoring. Crystal Hunter almost out of players. 5 on the pitch. Uh-oh. Do you re-roll that? I don't know. It's not worth re-rolling. I'm also not sure I like hitting this piece. Because again, if you fail to knock down this player, it's like over here and it's a 2+ for it to get away. Ball is now marked. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So theoretically, on a 2+, it can get somewhere relevant to dodge throughs. This is 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 3 plus 2 plus to 1 die the ball. Dodges through, gets the dodge and the 2 GFIs. So it's now 3 plus 2 plus to 2 die the ball. And we get the knockdown. Ball goes backwards. We could theoretically GFI and try to pick up the ball, but I don't think it's actually worth it. We might GFI to mark, but I feel like I would rather just keep the gutter here and guarantee that it has to make a 3 plus, or they have to blitz this gutter. So what are we looking at scoring wise? That's the only piece that can score. We might see Crystal Hunter commit GFIs to get in the way. So, movement 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Uh-oh. Where's the other runner? Okay, so this guy is passing 4 plus. This runner has to get through and into the end zone. And then this 4 plus passer has to pass the ball over a big hands gutter runner. Well, no. That doesn't matter for catches anymore. So, over a gutter runner. Yeah, this score is really hard. So the question becomes, do you punch this gutter runner in order to make a hole and try to pick up the ball? Or do you... That's a nice injury to pick up. Or do you commit everything into this rat ogre in order to try to prevent Crystal Hunter from being able to one turn? Because if this Juggernaut piece doesn't come back, and then this guy's removed, we have one... we only have the one stand firm. But at the same time, it's possible that this is required for the send off on a guard piece. That's a bit unfortunate. The coach is thrown out too. Oh lord, those KO results are awful. All 3 of those KOs stay out, as does the dwarf KOs. So Crystal Hunter is trying to one turn with 5 players. He only needs 1 square? Do not commit on the line like this. Don't give him extra bodies to work with. Don't give him extra bodies to work with, and don't give him the ability to just run into your backlines. Because if you commit super hard like this, he's just gonna blitz like 1 player and movement 9 sure feet sprint into your backlines, and you're just not gonna be able to touch him. I really don't like this. Like, sure, you're preventing the Rat Ogre from coming around behind you and juggernauting forward with the way you're setting up. But the Gunner Runner can just leave. He doesn't have to one turn. He appears to be fixing it. So the question becomes, does Crystal Hunter have enough pieces to go for the 2-turn? I kinda don't think he does. As long as Lost Tree has a sensible setup, I think he kinda get forced into trying the 1-turn. I don't like this. The 3 center means that this square is filled. So like if you fill this square, that makes it much easier. Because now he can juggernaut through. This square is filled, so he only needs 1 extra piece over the ball carrier in order to sidestep. And then you put a piece here, and then he sidesteps forward twice. Going 3 center like this is actually what's going to cost him this game. Yeah, the earlier setup was actually better than this. Because this is not a hard 1-turn setup. And it's kind of impressive that you're giving up an easy 1-turn setup for a Skaven who has 5 pieces. I'm not gonna lie. Is Crystal Hunter not taking it? He's still going for the 2-turn? Surely not. You just don't have the players. What? Why is the Rat Ogre back here? What is going on? I don't understand. Crystal Hunter has decided that he is playing the game with 4 players. Oh, are we just gonna pick up the ball and run backwards? We're picking up the ball and running backwards. We just told him that you have to come to me and prevent me from doing my thing. But at the same time, like, Last Street doesn't. He could just consolidate up here and just stand here for 8 turns, because Lost Street doesn't have to score. Yeah, like, sure, you're trying to make him come forward and overextend, but at the same time, he doesn't actually have to come forward. The reason that this Daka play works in most other game situations is because your opponent does feel the need to come forward and actually engage with you in order to win the game. But Lost Street just has to prevent Crystal Hunter from scoring, which means he doesn't actually have to come any farther than this LOS. And I would hope that Lost Street knows this, because we've seen multiple overtime games. So it has been mentioned that, you know, the defender just has to prevent the score more than once. So surely he knows this rule. Now the question becomes, how does Crystal Hunter play this position? And bear in mind, anytime that he moves the Rat Ogre, that he's not blitzing, it's a 50% chance that he has to punch one of his remaining players. It is real ballsy to make a DACA play in overtime with 5 players remaining on the pitch. One of which is a Rat Ogre that you cannot move reliably with no rerolls. I respect it a lot. I would have just gone for the one turn. I am not that brave. I would have gone for the one turn. Either the game ends either way. I do not have the nerves for this. Roger blitzes forward, doesn't punch one of his own players. There's the knockdown. Rat Ogre is now kind of in the way of linemen moving. But I mean, we're looking at effectively 4 players on the pitch, because this Rat Ogre is not reliable. Three plus 2 plus away is good. Oh, we're just gonna cage here? Are we baiting him to engage? No, okay. So we've not moved the ball forward, but we have said, hey look, here's some players around. Because if Lossery surrounds these players, then that's a lot of players committed. And then all the gutters can just go to one side and say, surprise, I'm 2-turning now. That's a break. Just a stun, but that's a big deal in a situation like this. Losing a player for a turn is a big problem, with so few players remaining. Four players committed. The only way the Roger can go is backwards. Which means we're probably seeing a Dauntless Blitz out of this Gutter Runner if we're doing it this turn. And it should be noted this runner back here does have Wrestle Tackle, so it's not unreasonable for him to knock down a Gutter Runner. Taking the Roger Blitz, we get a stun, and again, any stun in this situation is a big deal. Are we moving the Roger forward? Yep, we move it forward onto this side, so we might be caging here. Or, like, screening off. Every choice and every player movement is really crucial right now. Yeah, so it looks like we're screening off over here. These players we'll probably see these players on the side here come backwards. Yeah, here we go already. They're moving backwards because they're not going to do anything this turn going forwards. So set them up so that they're relevant for the next 2 turns. Just counting squares, figuring out what matters. So, like, we can bring players back here, have them, like, here, 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 and blitz through and hit this gutter, maybe? Looks like he's opting to just punch, so the Rat Ogre can't punch a hole through. I am slightly concerned that the only piece he's brought back can't actually punch the sidelines. We need to see this runner come back to like this square, or this square, somewhere over in this area. Because again, Last Street doesn't have to score. So if he comes back here and makes it so Crystal Hunter doesn't feel comfortable moving gutters down this direction, that's good enough. Extra clock ticking down. We've got just under 2 minutes for Glossary, but it should be noted that Crystal Hunter is down to 48 seconds of bonus time. So he's not going to have a massive amount of time to think. Opts to take the runner forward to turn this into a double deep screen so that the gutters can't come this direction, but you can just punch here. They can do the same punch and just come down here and go around in the same way. This piece is actively not doing anything. Because they can come around this direction in the same way, they can punch through here and just go all the way this way. I don't think that was the correct move. Glossary ticking through his bonus time. Trying to decide what he's doing with this runner. And I don't think moving this runner very much is correct. You could probably afford to move it forward a couple squares so that Crystal Hunter doesn't feel comfortable stalling like over here. But yeah, fair enough. Because if he mispositions this runner, he just loses, is the issue. So now Crystal Hunter, looking at his options, trying to figure out if he can punch a hole. It's possible that he'll just knock down this troll, opt to knock this Troll Slayer down, reposition 3 players like over here, and then go down this direction next turn. Get the knockdown. So now this guy can reposition over here, this Trevor can reposition over here, and this guy can reposition over here. So all these pieces are essentially out of position. And he's going to have to panic move them back over here. And if he does that incorrectly, then Crystal Hunter's just going to turn back around and go in this direction again. Where are we putting the ball? I mean, I guess this Troll Slayer is down and marked, so if you just put the ball like over here on the 1 GFI, it should be safe. Yeah. Takes that GFI there so that Troll Slayer can't have 5+, 2+2+ to hit. I would put this one more square forward, but Crystal Hunter doesn't want to be marked. Now Wall Street in a bit of a tough position. Has to punch this Rat Ogre, so one of these dwarves is effectively out of the game. This is one of the reasons why I was saying you probably move the runner forward like 3 squares as opposed to just the 1. Just so this play feels confident about it. But yeah, probably has to punch this Rat Ogre to free any of these players up, which means one of these dwarves is out of the game. This dwarf is effectively out of the game. This dwarf is effectively out of the game. And even then, like, this guy is effectively out of the game. This guy is probably the guy you should punch with, because he's not getting anywhere relevant. And then these two can maybe GFI at the end of the turn to try to get somewhere that's important. But it's going to come down to what Lost Ray does with these pieces. Gets a push. I don't... Ooh. Ooh. I disagree with this heavily. It doesn't even get to serve. All three of these dwarves are now out of the game. They have been eliminated. They do not matter. There is no world where they get anywhere relevant. So that's now 5 dwarves effectively out of the game. Does get a removal on the gutter. I would argue that 2 of those pieces could move in GFI at the end of the turn in order to get somewhere relevant. All this has done is Lost Ray's traded 3 players for 1. He did manage to remove this gutter runner, so Crystal Hunter is effectively at 3 pieces. So the question... I mean, surely the play is just... What you do is you 2+, 1 die blitz here, and then you use sideline cage, right? Oh no, he's going down the pitch. He's going fully aggressive. He's just potatoing. So how are we attempting to protect this? We could put a player there, and then dodge out and double GFI to put pieces there. And we're just saying, you have to roll a bunch of dice to get to me? The first dodge is good, so we're marking the movement 7 runner. We take a 1 die punch on these dwarves. I don't like this, because this doesn't do anything. This is the last action of the turn for me. What are we doing with this? Okay, so we're dodging out and we're blitzing the rest attack piece. We do force rescue. 1, 2, 3, go for it, go for it. So now the only piece that can hit the ball is this blitzer. So it's now 4 dice to find 1 POW. And even then, that doesn't guarantee it. Crystal Hunter has fought his way into this position, and I respect it immensely. What are we looking at odds-wise? Dave's action calculator. Because we just... So what we need is just a straight 2 die, looking for 1 POW. And then we need to break this AV8 piece with Mighty Blow. So, armor on an 8 with Mighty Blow. So we're looking at a 30% play here. With the reroll, we're looking at a 30% play. Because not only do we have to knock down, but we also have to stun. Because otherwise this guy just goes forward, and then he uses Big Hand to pick up the ball. Okay, we're GFIing. 3, 4, 5. So let's make... Let's make this 3 dice with 4 GFIs and see if that's better. No. Makes the pickup, that's insane. Gets the knockdown, scatter is bad, gets the pickup. Lashery stealing this out from under Crystal Hunter, who has worked so hard for this. So, looking at it, this is actually the worst play. 3-die block with 1 POW success, Aviate Break with Mighty Blow, 4 GFIs is 26.6%. The other way, the way I was looking at it, was only... Oh, we failed the dodge in! Oh, that's so sad. The surf was a nice look. We failed the dodge in. That was a whiff dodge too, wasn't it? It should be noted that a 4+ dodge into a red die looking for a push is a 33%. So it's actually more likely than either of the plays that Wall Street could have made last turn. That's disappointing. I was really impressed with how Crystal Hunter fought that back, and Foster just made the dice he needed. And then it would not surprise me if Crystal Hunter does not want to fight this anymore and just gives it up. No, he's positioning forward. He's gonna go for a dive. Fails the GFI to mark this piece. I'm not sure marking that piece matters, because if you're diving in with this thrower, there's a piece right there. So that's still a red die. Please move the ball first. Please move the ball first. I don't like taking the block before we move the ball. Because the only way that this goes wrong is if, like, we don't manage to knock this gutter around and it comes around and there's like a dive and it can come through and just take the ball and leave. If the ball is down here and it gets knocked down, like here-ish, that's not as big a deal because it takes all this movement to get over here. Yep, going to hand off to this runner, gonna further protect the ball. This is probably a reroll. Uses the reroll, has the ball in hand. Moves another dwarf down here just to prevent dives. Is marking that red ogre really necessary? Not really. I mean, I guess it prevents it from blitzing one of these more important pieces, so... Crystal Hunter going for the dive. Doesn't get it. So that is going to be a win for Lashery. Commiserations to Crystal Hunter, who fought incredibly hard and very nearly pulled it out. That was... I genuinely am surprised that he managed to pull that out. To nearly pull that out. And there's the end. As a reminder for everyone here, I will be going over the replay of the game that happened just now that he can get covered in just a second. So stick around for more games. Community, leagues, ReBBL. Competitions, playoffs. I really hate that this doesn't just take you to the results screen. So, MVP on the Uber Legend Gunner, so that's useless, and then an MVP on this Blitzer. A lot of SVP for the Dwarves. Stat screen for anyone that cares. Crystal Hunter's KO results ultimately came back to 50%. Illustrious is at 20, which is real bad. Yeah. Honestly looks about right, other than the fact that just the Skaven just ran out of pieces. That's rough. So, that has been ReBBL Playoffs, round of 32. Didn't buy Battlepass versus the ReBBL Barrett. There's a 2-1 victory to Lostry. And that's that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the stream for about 5 seconds in order to create a separate VOD so that I don't have to manually separate them, because that was a pain and took forever. So you may have to refresh when I restart stream. I am not certain. And then I will cover Listomania versus No Fun at All, because that happened simultaneously. And unless someone has announced that they're streaming, yeah, no one looks like to have announced that they were streaming. Yeah, so that's what we'll be doing. Give me about 10 seconds, and the stream will restart.